Two cops arrest a black woman badly. The revenge of the woman was shocking. He slammed her face against the hood like she wasn't even human. I was standing across the street with my kid, just trying to get us some groceries. And I saw the whole damn thing. She was maybe mid-30s. Slim. Dreadlocks pulled back in a bun. One of those reusable grocery bags slung over her shoulder. She was holding a phone and, I swear, not even looking at anyone, just walking out of the store. Then this cop, white guy, tall, built like he lifts weights more than he does paperwork, yells, "Hey, stop!" She froze. He didn't even ask questions, just came charging. And the second officer, Latina woman, shorter but the same vibe, came up right behind, hand already on her taser. They shoved her, hard. Bag hit the ground. Bananas rolled across the sidewalk like bowling pins. Her phone skidded into the gutter. My kid asked, "Mom, why are they hurting her?" I didn't know what to say. I didn't know why they were hurting her. They cuffed her like she was a threat. She screamed, "I didn't do anything. What are you doing? My name is Tasha Fields. I live right here." But they weren't listening. And the look the guy gave her, like she disgusted him. People started filming, of course. But the damage was already done. They shoved her into the back of the cruiser, face bleeding, one arm twisted wrong behind her. I never forgot her face. And I definitely didn't forget what happened next. See, turns out, they got the wrong person. Whatever call came in, they thought she stole something or had a warrant, I don't even know. It wasn't her. She had no record. She was a teacher, a third-grade teacher. Let that sit with you for a second. They beat down a woman who teaches kids how to read. The department tried to spin it. Mistaken identity, routine procedure. Suspect was uncooperative. The usual BS. She filed a complaint. And then, surprise, they claimed she assaulted them. Tried to hit the cop with her phone, apparently. Which makes zero sense, because the phone was in the street the whole time. But here's the thing. Tasha didn't just roll over. She disappeared for a bit, yeah. Probably healing. Probably crying in her bathroom late at night while everyone else kept moving on. But then she came back. 6 months later, a new nonprofit popped up in the city. The Field Project, named after her. They said it was about community justice and accountability. They offered legal aid for people wrongfully arrested. They trained teens on how to interact with police, not out of fear, but out of power. They taught self-defense. They exposed body cam footage the city tried to hide. She became a force. But that's not even the craziest part. The same two officers, the ones who arrested her, were still on the force. Until one day, a story dropped. Front page. Those officers were under internal investigation. Not for Tasha. That case hadn't gone anywhere. Number. This time, it was about evidence tampering. Turns out someone leaked video from another arrest, a 17-year-old boy they'd slammed onto concrete over a vape pen. Guess who leaked it? Yeah, Tasha. But it's how she did it that got everyone talking. You ready for this? She didn't hack into anything. She didn't have some fancy lawyer break through firewalls. She got a job with the city, administrative position, small desk, just paperwork. No one paid her much attention. But guess what that job gave her access to? Body cam archives, internal files, complaint reports, everything. She walked in that building every day, like she didn't have a scar under her left eye and nerve damage in her wrist from what they did. And she collected receipts. That's how she brought them down. Not with anger, not with fists, with proof. But it didn't stop there. She showed up to the public hearing wearing the same exact coat she'd worn the day she got arrested. It still had the tear on the sleeve. She didn't patch it, didn't wash out the faint blood stain near the collar. She wanted them to see it. The room was packed. City officials, reporters, a bunch of folks like me. Regular people who saw the videos and couldn't unsee them. And there they were, Officers Grant and Mendez, front row, arms crossed like they were bored. Grant had that same smug look. Mendez kept checking her watch. Then Tasha walked to the mic. Didn't flinch, didn't clear her throat. She just looked at the board and said, "You know my name. You knew it the day you erased my dignity and said it was protocol." Dead silent. You could hear the AC humming. She pulled out a flash drive and handed it to the clerk. I submitted 15 clips, all from the last year. 10 different victims. 6 were minors. 2 didn't make it. Someone in the back gasped. I swear, Mendez looked like she was going to throw up. Tasha kept going, her voice calm, not cold, not loud, just steady. Like she'd rehearsed this 1,000 times, but never let herself feel numb to it. These officers assaulted me without cause, lied in their reports, and when I tried to speak up, they said I was confused and combative. But the cameras weren't confused. They remembered everything. Then she turned to face Grant. I had a miscarriage a week after what you did to me. My body couldn't handle the trauma. You didn't just arrest me. You took something I'll never get back. No one breathed. Even the board members stopped pretending to take notes. You think I want revenge, she said. I want truth. I want safety. I want every little black girl who walks to the corner store to come back home whole. People stood up, clapping, crying, some shouting, "Say that!" I looked at my kid. He was holding my hand so tight. And I just kept thinking, how is this woman even standing right now? They suspended Grant and Mendez that same week. Said it was pending further review, but everybody knew it was over. But see? Tasha didn't stop there. She knew how the system worked now, knew the cracks, knew the back doors, and she started teaching others. Free classes at the rec center, how to read a police report. Workshops for parents, how to advocate for your kids in court. She trained a team of volunteers, half of them under 25, to dig through arrest records and cross-reference patterns. Turns out, there were a lot of Grants and Mendezes out there. The field project started blowing up, got national attention. Even celebrities started backing it. But the best part? Tasha didn't change. Still lived in the same apartment. Still rode the same bus. Still walked to that same grocery store every Sunday, head high, eyes open. And then, one night, someone spray-painted "liar" across her door. Big red letters, dripping down the frame like blood. She didn't call the cops. She posted a photo on her page and wrote, "If this is supposed to scare me, you haven't been paying attention." And then she got to work again. But the next twist? Nobody saw that coming, especially not her. A man showed up at her door with flowers. No note, just a tired face and hands that shook a little. She opened the door, saw him, and didn't say anything at first. "Are you Tasha Fields?" he asked, voice low. She nodded. I think you helped my son." He didn't say it like a thank you. He said it like a confession. She stepped aside, let him in, and they sat across from each other at her little kitchen table. The same table she used to grade spelling tests. The same table she curled up at after that night 6 months ago. "I'm not good at this," the man said. But my boy was arrested last fall. Said he mouthed off to a cop. They broke his nose, filed him under assault. I didn't believe him. I told him to respect authority. He looked down. He stopped talking to me after that. Then he reached into his jacket and pulled out a folder. Inside were printed emails, screenshots, a copy of a report Tasha's team had written. "You cleared his name," he said. "You even found the body cam clip that proved he didn't touch anyone. Just asked why he was being stopped. That's it." Tasha didn't say anything. I came to say sorry," he whispered. "And thank you. You gave me my son back, even if he won't talk to me yet." And that's when she did something I think about all the time. She reached across the table, touched his hand, and said, "Then write him a letter. And don't say sorry once. Say you believe him now." That was the thing about her. She never held pain like a trophy. She used it. But all of this, the attention, the press, the weight, it was piling up. She started getting tired. You could see it in her eyes. Still strong, but dimmer, like she was carrying too much and didn't know where to set it down. Then came the email. Anonymous sender. No subject line. Just a link. At first she ignored it, but something about it nagged at her. She opened it on a burner laptop she used for research. It was a video. Not from a body cam, not from a security camera. Phone footage. Low quality. Shaky. You see a hallway. 2 cops. A kid pressed against the wall screaming, "I can't breathe." And then Grant walks into frame. Still in uniform. Still working. This wasn't old. This was 2 weeks ago. They said he was suspended, but he was still out there. Still doing the same thing. Tasha's hands shook as she paused the video. It felt like her lungs stopped working, like everything she'd done didn't matter. Like the system had just grinned and said, "You really thought this would change anything?" She called her lawyer, tried to report it. But the file was under review. The suspension was pending. The department said they couldn't comment on ongoing personnel matters. So she leaked it. This time, she didn't blur faces, didn't redact names. She put it on every platform she had. "This is what they let happen," she wrote. "After all the speeches, after all the hearings, after all the promises." It went viral in 3 hours, and within 24, the department issued a statement. "Officer Grant has been terminated effective immediately." But it didn't feel like a win. Because the kid in the video, 15 years old, broken wrist, refuses to leave his room. And that's when Tasha started questioning if this fight would ever end. Then one night, out of nowhere, she got a call. Blocked number. She answered anyway. "Miss Fields?" The voice was female. Sharp, steady. "You don't know me, but I used to be Officer Mendez's partner before Grant Paz. I know things, and I'm ready to talk, but we can't do it over the phone." And just like that, the story flipped. Again. They met at a laundromat. Not a coffee shop, not an office. A half-lit place on 6th where one machine was always broken and the change machine ate your dollars like candy. The woman was already sitting when Tasha walked in. Hoodie up, cap pulled low. She looked like she was trying not to be seen, but still kept scanning the room like she expected someone to follow her. Tasha sat down across from her and didn't say a word. The woman finally spoke. "My name's Rena. I did 6 years with the department. Left 2 years ago, quietly." Tasha nodded, still silent. "I saw your video, the one with the hallway. That kid, that wasn't the first time, and it wasn't just Grant." She slid a flash drive across the table. "I copied what I could before I left. Internal reports, notes, memos they forgot to log. Some of the things I saw. She paused. We were told to de-escalate. But off the record, it was like they were taught how to provoke, make 'em flinch, make 'em swing, then boom, resisting arrest. Tasha clenched her jaw. Why didn't you say anything before? Rena didn't flinch. Because I was scared, and because I didn't believe anyone would listen. Until you. They sat in silence, clothes tumbling behind them in the dryer, like background static. Rena leaned in. You're not safe, you know. They talk about you. Not just the rank and file. The higher-ups. You made them look stupid. Tasha blinked slowly. I don't care. You should, Rena said. They don't just fire people. They bury them in lawsuits, or worse. But Tasha didn't back down. She took the flash drive, tucked it into her jacket, and said, I appreciate the warning, but I'm not going anywhere. That night, Tasha barely slept. She sat up at her desk, scrolling through what was on the drive. Rena wasn't exaggerating. There were notes from a sergeant saying, push harder in low-income zones, clears the stats faster. There were training videos, real ones, where the instructors said things like, if they twitch, assume a weapon. There was a whole folder titled Officer Wellness, and inside it, a list of payouts for misconduct. Officers suspended with pay. Counseling sessions paid for after an excessive force report, like they were rewarded for getting violent. And there was one more file, one that made Tasha stop breathing for a second. It was labeled Fields Incident Follow-Up. She opened it. There was a transcript. It wasn't public. It wasn't part of her arrest file. It was a meeting between Grant and a supervisor. Weeks after her arrest. And in it, the supervisor says, this one's noisy. Keep her name out of your mouth. If the media asks, say you don't recall specifics. They knew. They knew she was innocent. They knew it would blow up. And they planned for it. Tasha leaned back in her chair, closed her eyes, and whispered, they tried to erase me. But now she had proof. And the next morning, she went nuclear. She called a press conference. No announcement, no warning, just posted the location and said, if you care about truth, show up. Hundreds came. She walked up to the podium with no notes, no speech, just that flash drive in her hand. I told you this wasn't about one bad cop, she said. Now I can prove it. And then she dropped the bombshell. She listed names, dates, quotes from the transcripts, showed printouts of the payout logs, read lines from those training videos out loud. And at the end, she said, they tried to delete me. Now I'm uploading the truth everywhere. She uploaded the files to a public server, gave every journalist in that crowd the password, told people to copy, repost, save. Within hours, it was everywhere. And that night, her apartment window shattered. Someone threw a rock, wrapped in paper. One word on it, stop. But it was too late, because the country was watching now. And someone else, someone very unexpected, had been watching too. The mayor showed up at her doorstep. No security detail, no press, just him, standing there in a navy coat that probably cost more than her rent for 6 months. Tasha opened the door, saw him, and didn't even move. He said, Miss Fields, I know this is unorthodox, but I'd like to talk in private. She crossed her arms. You had 3 years. You could have called. You didn't. I didn't see the full picture, he said. That's on me. She gave a tight laugh. Nah, you saw it. You just didn't feel it. He nodded, like he'd been expecting that. I need your help, he said. That made her pause. I want a clean house, he went on. Top down. But if I do that without someone from the outside, it'll just look like politics. You want me to make it look real? She asked. No, he said. I want it to be real. And she saw something in his eyes. Not guilt, not panic, but a kind of desperation, like a man who finally realized the fire had spread to his own shoes. She didn't say yes, not right away. But she said, "You've got one shot to do this right. Screw it up, I'll expose you too." So they started meeting, quietly. She drafted policies. She demanded an independent civilian review board. She wrote a clause that made body cam tampering a felony. She got 2 community organizers hired into the chief's office, not as token hires, but with real authority. People called it the Fields Reform Package. She hated the name. Said, "This shouldn't be about me. I'm not trying to be the face of anything. I'm just trying to make sure no one ends up bleeding on the pavement for buying groceries." And things started changing. Slow at first. A new chief. Mandatory bias training actually enforced. Internal affairs flipped, brought in outside monitors. Grant, officially charged. Mendez, took a deal, flipped on supervisors, started talking. It was like the whole thing cracked open from the inside. But then, one night, after a long meeting, Tasha walked out of City Hall and someone was waiting by her car. It was a woman in a hoodie, face half covered, eyes red. "You ruined everything," she hissed. Tasha froze. "You think you're saving people? You're destroying good cops' lives." Mendez lost her house. Her family moved out of state. She was one of the good ones. Tasha said nothing. She didn't flinch, didn't raise her voice. She just said, "Good ones don't stay silent while bad ones break bones." The woman spat on the ground and stormed off. Tasha drove home, hands tight on the wheel. And later that night, while going through emails, she found one she almost missed. No subject line. Inside was a video. Again, this one, different. It was a recording from inside the department, a locker room. Someone had hidden a phone. You hear voices, laughing. Then Grant's voice, clear as day, before he was fired. "She'll get hers. One way or another, doesn't matter if it's now, doesn't matter if it's legal." Then another voice, someone else, one she couldn't place. "You think she knows how close she came to disappearing?" And they laughed. It wasn't just the arrest. It wasn't just policy. They hated her because she made them visible. She forwarded the video to the mayor, to the press, everywhere. But that night, she didn't sleep. She sat up with her back against the door, bat in her lap, waiting. She didn't cry, didn't tremble. But the way she clutched that bat, that was the look of someone who'd been through war and realized she might still be in the middle of it. And just when she thought it was finally winding down, the final twist hit her straight in the chest. A letter, certified, hand-delivered. Not from the city, not from the police, from the Department of Homeland Security. She opened it slowly. Then she sat down, read it twice, and whispered, "You've got to be kidding me." The letter said she was under review, not for a crime, not for fraud, for potential disruption of federal-state law enforcement operations. That's what they called it. Disruption. She read it 3 times, each word punching harder than the last. They weren't coming after her with guns anymore. Now they were coming with paper. Paper that ruins careers, freezes bank accounts, gets your name dragged through headlines next to words like radical and domestic risk. She sat at that table for almost an hour, not moving. Then she picked up her phone, called Rena. No answer. Called the mayor. Voicemail. She didn't panic. She just went quiet. Then she stood up, changed her shirt, and walked out the door. An hour later, she went live on every platform she had. Face bare. Voice calm. She held the letter up to the camera. "They're scared," she said. "That's what this is. They can't stop me with threats. They can't stop me with rocks or anonymous emails. So now they're trying to bury me in paperwork." She paused. "And I want you to know, it's working. I'm tired. I'm scared. I miss my old life. I miss sleeping through the night. I miss feeling safe in my own skin." She looked down. "But I don't regret it. Not 1 second." And then she said something I'll never forget. "If I go down, let it be loud. Let it be messy. Let it matter. Because you only try to erase someone when their truth is louder than your lies." The video got 2 million views overnight. 3 days later, DHS walked it back, said it was a miscommunication, said she was never officially under investigation. Total BS. But she knew why they backed off, because by then, too many people were watching. And even the people who didn't love her, they couldn't deny what she did. She helped 5 other departments clean house, trained over 100 community watchdogs, got 2 state bills passed. But even with all of that, when people ask what changed her the most, it wasn't the fame, or the files, or even the pain. It was what happened the day she walked into a classroom again, not to teach, just to visit. A little girl raised her hand, couldn't have been older than 8, and said, "Are you the lady that made the bad cops leave?" Tasha smiled, knelt beside her, and said, "I helped." The girl leaned in, whispered, "My brother said he wants to be a cop now, but a good one." Tasha's eyes welled up, and she said, "Then tell him to hurry up. We need him." That was the legacy. Not headlines, not speeches, hope, in places that had none left. And as for revenge, Tasha never needed it, because nothing hit harder than the truth she forced the world to see. And if you were in this situation, what would you do? Have you ever gone through something like this? Or helped someone who did? Let us know in the comments. Like the video if you felt it. And subscribe if you want more life stories that stay with you.